Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Purport. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, you are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows that what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the control of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul and the Supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which is unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned. For him, there is no cause of lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakamanam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pradan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome all to this evening Bhagavad Gita class. And again thanks to all devotees for giving me a chance to serve by speaking on this timeless literature, Bhagavad Gita. This is the shloka where actually the Bhagavad Gita begins. The instruction of Gita begins from this shloka. I'll say a few words about Bhagavad Gita. it is said that when somebody is sleeping for a long time, after a very tiring day's work, like 12 or 13 hours, somebody is working very hard, then one goes to rest, goes to very deep sleep, very, very deep sleep. Even if somebody is trying to pull your eyelids, still it is going back like this. That kind of deep sleep. One is sleeping, and it is already day, the sun is out in the sky, so the person is sleeping. And his friend or father is not happy with that. So when they come to the room, open the screen like this, the window screen, and the bright sunlight falls on his face. Suppose you are in that place, what would you do? Huh? What did you do? Pull the, chadar, the blanket, pull it over your head. Right? You don't appreciate that light at that time. So similarly, when you are in a very deep ignorance, dark ignorance, and Bhagavad Gita's knowledge is like bright sun. We come across, it's too much, I don't want it, these instructions are too heavy, I'm not ready for it. But on the other hand, the moonshine is something that we never say no to. Right? Moonshine. Any problem? You can do all night kirtan in moonshine. Can you do all day kirtan in sunshine? Considering very hot sun, not possible. But in moonshine, everybody releases. It is very soothing, very cool, and it is something releasable. But what is moonshine? Moonshine is nothing but reflected sunlight. The same sunlight falling on moon, coming back to us. So similarly, this Bhagavad Gita understanding directly is very difficult. But when the same light comes through an Acharya like Srila Prabhupada, it is very much understandable, very soothing, very much welcoming. We can accept it and appreciate it better. Same sunlight, when it comes from moon, we appreciate it. But directly, I say, no, it's too much. Similar Bhagavad Gita, because of Srila Prabhupada, all this translation and purport, we are able to understand the significance of this literature. I am from India, and I tried to read many, literature, scriptural literature from many authors when I was a student, many years back, 30 years back. And sometimes I would like something, sometimes I would not like something, like that. It was going back and forth. Then finally I decided to read Bhagavad Gita. And there are so many Gitas, but somehow I found Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. And I was trying to read it. But even then, nothing was making any sense to me. Actually, frankly speaking, I was trying to read it and understand. But because we carry a lot of pre-notions, lot of conceptions regarding our own understanding, our own perception of the world, of the philosophy, of the knowledge, of the people. We carry our own perceptions. And we try to see the whole world with that framework always. And when you read Bhagavad Gita, that perceptions interferes with our absorption of the knowledge. And whenever that perception is matching with the knowledge given in the book, we say this is a nice book. Now it doesn't match, we say, oh, maybe something, I don't know what it is. Like that. But actually, if we want to study something, we should clear all the conception from our head. Just wipe it out for a moment. Just keep it aside. Then try to understand. Then it is possible. So I was trying to read, but then I found I didn't realize at that moment all these pre-notions are actually interfering. I had no idea it was interfering, but I couldn't make it out. I was trying to study sincerely. And because I was trying to study, Krishna's mercy is like that. Many devotees came in my life. Many devotees came in my life. And when they started teaching Bhagavad Gita, like I'm speaking now, I was sitting and hearing from them some 22, 23 years back. And actually when you sit to hear somebody live, like I'm speaking now, you're hearing, or I'm sitting hearing somebody, then our mind is quite open. That's what I found. Mind is quite open. And our preconceived notions don't come at that moment. They just go to the background. And when they started speaking, everything started making a lot of sense, which I was unable to do on my own. It is not only Bhagavad Gita, it is any kind of knowledge. Like when we go to college, and the teacher actually teaches, and if you open up our mind and heart to understand what he's speaking, then it becomes quick. Then you just buy a book on your own and try to study on your own in the room. It is very difficult. You need a teacher, right? So when I met devotees and they spoke from the same Bhagavad Gita with Prabhupada, it was a totally different impact on me. I started understanding all things gradually. So therefore, this kind of programs where we come together and we try to hear and understand what is Bhagavad Gita is very important. And it is our responsibility to always organize program where such kind of lecturing is going on. Because otherwise, why it is even more important, because nowhere in universities, in colleges, anywhere, nobody speaks about these things. Right? It is such an important piece of knowledge, but it is not available anywhere. So if we don't speak about it, if we don't understand and try to propagate what Prabhupada has given us, then it will not reach anybody. Isn't it? So to our best capacity, we should try to present this knowledge to the audience, other colleges, universities, or even corporate offices. Everywhere should speak, because people don't know these things. So therefore, this Bhagavad Gita, it's been glorified by so many great people, great scholars, philosophers, scientists. But after hearing about such glorification, somehow it is not able to reach to the public, isn't it? But thanks to efforts of distribution, book distribution, it has almost reached everybody's home. Like Prabhu was telling me, in this country, you have knocked on everybody's door, right? There is a book in every family, practically speaking. But then giving book that is a big achievement. There is no doubt about it. But then actually going and teaching people what it is will fulfill that stage 1 activity. Stage 1 you give books to everybody. There is a book in everybody's hand. But stage 2 is actually disseminating the knowledge into their hearts. That is actually the success of the distribution. And the success doesn't end there. The third is that they understand the practice. Now why they should practice after reading this, we will understand when you read it. Because this particular Bhagavad Gita, Gita means the song by Lord Krishna. Bhagavad means God, Bhagavan. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, we started, God is speaking. Krishna is Swam Bhagavan, Krishna is the Bhagavan Swam, the Supreme Lord Himself, and He is singing a song to Arjuna in a battlefield. Like if you see Indian movies, Bollywood movies, the heroine always they keep singing. Love songs they keep singing, or some kind of rebel song, some song they keep singing. In a Hollywood movie, you don't see so much of singing, all dialogues, very nice dialogues, but then not much song are there. But actually, I don't know how many of us have actually sung songs in our conversation. We hardly do it, right? We don't do it. the sweetest of all relationship when actually saying something to people. Sometimes mother, they speak to the children, they try to rhyme something to make the child happy, enthusiastic, please, right? That is also one of the sweetest moment mother experiences. And the child also sing back to the mother. But as we grow, adulthood, and we don't do those things because there is not much feeling remains in the heart. Because of so much of negative experiences in life, one after other, it's like happening again and again and again. So we just feelings just simply go to sleeping state, just die. We don't sing anymore. But everybody likes to sing. In spiritual world, it is said, Katha Ganam Natyam Gavanam Vivamsi Priya Sakhi. That every step they take is actually a dance. And they're always happy. Always happy. And every word that comes out of their mouth is a song. What a beautiful place. That is the description of spiritual world in Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma speaks it. So here is a battlefield, and Arjuna is totally mourning, not in a good state at all. And Krishna is singing a song to him, telling him why he should fight. There is a total difference of opinion here. Arjuna says, I'm not going to fight. Krishna is saying, you fight. So there is a classic dialogue between two friends when they totally disagree. And how Krishna gradually convinces Arjuna to fight, but tells him, it is your desire. It's not that I am forcing on you, it is your desire. If you agree, carry on. If you disagree, carry on. If you disagree, if you don't understand, I am ready to speak it again. Krishna had that patience. But in this whole situation, that we see how Krishna is speaking, is singing a song and clarifying Arjuna's doubts. So there are many artists who have actually sung Bhagavad Gita in various ragas also. So sometimes we can just play and listen to it. It's very nice, very soothing. So there are different tones while Krishna speaks. So Arjuna had a lot of doubts regarding the war. The whole Bhagavad Gita begins with a doubt. That why to fight, why to kill, all these people are known to me. Is it okay? It's not right, I think. And he's giving various arguments. How can I kill my own people, own relatives? It's a costly thing. Why do you want to engage in such kind of war? I can't do this. Arjuna is arguing like this. So he had all his doubts. So when we have a doubt in life, what we should do, we should present the doubt and clear it. Instead of carrying the doubt in our heart all the time. This is very, very important thing. Because doubts, doubts are something that doesn't go on its own. It doesn't go. Suppose you have a question in the mind, the questions can be answered. But doubts cannot be answered, doubts has to be cleared. Doubts have to be, Krishna says, doubts should be destroyed. Sometimes Krishna says, doubts are like demons. If we dealing with demons, either we kill them or they kill us. There's no third choice. Demons, either we kill them or they kill us. So the doubts has to be dealt in that way. It has to be destroyed. How it is destroyed? By bringing it forward, and somebody is there who knows what it is, they will clear it, they will destroy it. So Arjuna's doubts are all cleared by Krishna. And his questions, he had also questions, and questions got answered also. So in this way, Bhagavad Gita is a treatise where this discussion is going on. And at this moment, Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I really can't fight this war. I'm sorry, I can't do this. And he keeps aside his bow and arrow. and full of lamentation just sits. There is no strength in his body. Only few, maybe few months or maybe a year back, or maybe few months back only, he single-handedly defeated Duryodhan, Karna, Bhishma, and all his Drona all together. He actually defeated them single-handedly. He had that strength, that power. Anyway, so now here he stands right in the middle of the war field. Because of all this lamentation and anxieties, his body lost all the strength. And his body was quivering, it was shaking, and his mind was reeling, and the body is perspiring, and he is not able to lift the bow because of the anxiety. Mrs. Krishna, I can't find his word. Now Krishna begins instructing, because Arjuna told, before giving up this conclusion, he says, only you can dispel all my doubts. There is no one else who can dispel this doubt, this situation. Only you can help me, and you become my guru, to the extent that he says, he's so disturbed, Sometimes we may ask friends' opinions, but we never make our friends our guru. Like Anand Guru may be having many friends. Are they considering you as guru, your friends? Who are not in Krishna consciousness? They do? I have many friends. They don't think that I am a guru. They say, we know who you are. So there is no question of friends, saying that you are guru. But here Arjuna was such a difficult situation in his life at that moment. He said, Krishna, you are guru. Just instruct me, just chastise me if it is necessary. Shishyasteham swadhimam tvam prabannam. I am surrendering. You do whatever you like, you can chastise me also. And this is friends, and Krishna is seeing that he is going into this kind of miserable situation. He is also kind of a little bit angry. What happened to you? As a friend, what happened to you? This is not the Arjuna that is my friend. This is somebody else. So the whole, they kind of tried all different means to avoid the war, but that other party was, bent upon the war only. They wanted only war, nothing else. There's no good advices entered their mind and heart. They're not accepting anything. So when everything is organized, you say, I'm not going to war, I'm not going to fight. That is very disappointing in one sense. So Krishna begins this song in a very angry mood, and he is chastising all that. He's not happy with it. So what happened to you? And if you read this Sanskrit, asocyan anasocastvam pragyavadam subhasase. That what is not worthy of lamentation, you are lamenting for that. What's not worthy of lamentation, you are lamenting for that. And you are giving big arguments, pragyavadams. Pragya means learned. Pragya means jnana, pragya, these are all something to do with your intelligence. So you are speaking like a very intelligent, learned, giving big arguments. And bhasa means to speak, but there are different words for, in Sanskrit there are many words for the same word, but many words, synonyms. And they express different, I would say, they express different emotions for the same word. So, to speak, Badati is also speaking, Badati, you are speaking, Bada. But Bhasase means you are giving a lecture. So when the politician they speak, they say in India, Bhashan. Bhashan means he's a politician, he's a leader, and he's giving Bhashan, and nobody likes it. Nobody likes that kind of, they just speak big things, but they do nothing. They give you big promise, but they do nothing. So that is Bhashan. So Krishna is saying you are giving a big Bhashan, you are speaking like a politician, you are speaking big things. But you don't know what is to lament, what is not to lament. Gatasam agatasamscha nanusud. But the real learned person, one is really pandita, a learned man, he doesn't lament for what is temporary and what is permanent. So this is how he begins the teachings to Arjuna Bhagavad Gita. And he's saying we should not lament for something that is not worthy, and he says gatasum, that which is temporary. It's like I was studying, I was living in an institute for 2 years in a hostel. And I knew after 2 years I'm going to give up this hostel. It's a very nice hostel. I had a small room, single room. I was the only occupant. And I had a balcony also overlooking forest and mountains. It's a beautiful place, beautiful room. At the end of the corridor, I had the last room.
Yeah.
So, but I knew after 2 years I'm going to go out of this place. And I wanted to go out. It's not that I want to stay there forever, just keep failing and staying in the university. It's not a good thing. I really wanted to go out also. The room was very nice. But because I know this is a temporary setup, I'm not going to stay here. It's not that I took some money from my father and started putting marble on the floor because I want to stay. This is my room. I'm going to stay here. To put marble here or paint it nicely. So whatever it is, keep it clean. Do your studies, 2 years, get out of this place. That is intelligent, isn't it? That is not it. So similarly, we know this body, this room where I am living in, is not going to stay forever. But I am putting so much of attention to every detail, every day, every minute, every second. This is something very amazing, isn't it? So the learned people, they don't put any importance in temporary. It's going to go. I'm not going to keep it anymore. I can't keep it anymore. At a certain time, I have to give it up. So then what they do, they plan for that which is permanent. Like we are living in common quarters. My father was living in a common quarter. We lived there some 30 years in one house, in one home. 25, 30 years. It was 2-bedroom hall, kitchen with a garden. It was a good home. And when I was a child, I thought this is our home. I thought like that. But then later I understood this is not our home. When my father retires, we will lose this home. So then what to do? My father builds another home, which is our home. And when he retires, we shifted to that place, which we consider. So what happens, when we know this is temporary, we plan for permanent, and that is intelligent. Similarly, when you understand body is temporary and soul is permanent, then you have to find a place for the soul. This body is going to go away. So this is how the teaching begins in Bhagavad Gita. We have to understand there is something called temporary and something permanent. Then the whole, this is the foundation of Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge on which is built upon the whole literature is this principle. Then the next is to understand what is that which is permanent and what is that which is temporary. The next shloka, Krishna will speak that, the next few shlokas. So we'll discuss that tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow we can do that. So let us keep something suspense. Any questions, any comments? Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
You have mentioned doubt, samshaya, right? Like in a negative way, in the sense that it has to be cleared. But we also hear from Bhagavatam that the samshaya is also the function of intelligence. Right? Doubting is one of the
Okay.
of the function. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate on this?
So repeat the question. You are asking whether doubt is always taken as a negative sense.
Yeah, you
But it's
mentioned
also a sign of intelligence.
it's a function of intelligence, one of the 5 functions which is in the Bhagavad.
Yeah. So actually there's a little difference between doubts and having questions. Question and doubt are two different things. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya, that is prashna. Pradekshante jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So when I approach Guru, we have to be humble, we have to fold our hand, understand that actually I don't know anything, I'm totally captured in ignorance, and I seek knowledge from the Guru. How that is done? What is the vidhi or what is the way? That vidhi means what is the way? Way is pranipata, humility. Pariprashnena, ask questions. Sevaya, render service. In this way, one can understand the truth. This is the way to understand the truth. If we try any other way, we will not be able to grasp the truth. It will be difficult. So, pariprashna is encouraged. Prashna means questions. But samsaya means doubt, that is not encouraged. Because doubt is something, if I have doubt on somebody, no matter what that person does to convince us, we will not be convinced. Even if the doubts are answered, it doesn't get clear because it is a doubt, it is not a question. Right? So the doubts we have to destroy, we have to clear it ourselves in one sense. After hearing something, I have to do something on my doubts. I have to just keep it aside. This is nonsense. So Krishna says, Samsaya Atma Vinashyati, later in Gita, that doubts, if we hold on to doubts, then doubts will definitely destroy us. Therefore, we have to destroy doubts. But we can ask question and question can always be answered. So yes, questioning is actually a sign of intelligence, but doubt is actually a sign of ignorance. It's a sign of ignorance. It is kind of unfortunate situation. Doubts are unfortunate situation. So the opposite of doubt is trust. Person who is not carrying trust in the heart will find life very difficult. It's very difficult. There has to be some trust, you know. So when you sit in front of somebody, you should have trust in the person. And when we experience some trust from the audience, our heart also pours out. But if you see people are doubting all the time, then we won't be encouraged to actually give what we are trying to give. Suppose you are giving somebody a chocolate and somebody is thinking, what is inside? Is that chocolate or something is mixed with it, it is going to put me to sleep or something. So if we have the doubt, the person who is giving can also experience, not that it is just something that mind, it actually comes out in some way, it leaks out, the doubts they leak out. They leak out, the person who wants to give understands, so he gives, but not with much enthusiasm anymore. So, who's at the loss? The person who's having doubts. But we have to discriminate. So the problem is now, the question then comes next is, there are so many gurus who are actually cheating people. There are so many teachers who are cheating, there are so many businessmen who also cheat, so many politicians who cheat. Cheaters are everywhere, including the spiritual cult. But then if I have to do business, tens of people are cheating, it is my job to discriminate where I have to invest. It is up to me, it is not up to the people who are available, it is up to me. So the discrimination is good, but doubting is not good. Then you doubt everybody, you doubt the good one also. So what is the point? You can't move, you can't progress, you can't grow. You can't grow. So therefore, questioning, discriminating, trying to find the truth, these are called sign of intelligence. But doubting is not. It's dangerous. please. Doubts are not good. Okay. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.